Welcome.
Everybody.
Hey, Dan. How are you doing? I can hear you. Can you hear me? Everyone, we're good? We're good?
We are good.
All right.
You guys, thank you for joining us. This is Tavern Talk, where spoiler goggles are firmly implanted. We are talking we're drinking, we're talking, we're gossiping, we're doing all this stuff. And tonight, we're going to talk about Serene Bashere Tiabira, aka Mandarb for a minute, aka Faile.
You.
We first meet her as a petulant teenage runaway, eager to show her worth and persistence as a hunter of the horn. She tags along with the gang, triggers the hedgehog trap, and Perrin risks his life to save her. She then takes actions behind Perrin's back to ensure the victory for the Two Rivers in the battle against the Trollocs, and she gains a husband. The third act of Faile involves her captured by the Shido named Roland, and Perrin's reactions and focus, read as rope knots, on her rescue, including her killing her Shido rescuers, with Faile killing Massimo the Prophet, and finally we see her as a participant and leader of Cha Faile in the final battle, and the person who stole and gave the Horn of Valir to Oliver to give to Matt, this helping to ensure the victory of the light and leaving her near death. After being healed by Nynaeve, she and Perrin were to become the monarchs of Saldea with the death of her parents. So let's talk Faile. And with us, as always, is Jansen Lashley Haynes, our best friend. And we have another best friend, Ryan.
I'm sorry, yes?
We have another best friend. Let's pull her in.
Let's bring her in. Yeah, bring her in right now. New best friend. It is Beth Doman. Beth Doman.
Hi.
How are you doing, Beth?
Hey, Beth.
I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
You know what? You deserve it. There you go. There we go. Special guest.
Get into that music there. That was pretty amazing. I'm not going to be sad about that.
So, yeah, we are going to talk about Faile. Faile is one of the more, what is the word? Let's say hard to love characters. One of the more, there's a word that is not coming to my head, but it is either you really like her or you really don't.
I called her divisive,
polarizing,
divisive and polarizing. Good job,
underrated in my.
I think that Faile was one of the most human characters in the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
Agree.
She acted on emotion a lot. There was nothing that she did that I haven't seen someone do myself in real life.
We do have to thank you, MaTsDaGger. Your kindness is only surpassed by your fantastic charisma.
All right, I'll make
and
that.
Ryan, feel free to call technical fouls. Okay?
I had plans on making that happen.
Okay, good.
Because there are some really, really good things about Faile. From depending on who you are, to some really annoying things about Faile, depending who you are. Yeah, so it. I mean, one thing, you can't really talk about her without understanding her background.
Correct. Faile is probably the first introduction to confusing culture, right?
True. Yes.
Like her way of dealing with the boys, everyone's like, what is going on with her? But she's staying true to how Saldeans act.
Yes. She's the product of where she grew up and how she grew up there. She grew up in Meridon, which was the capital city of Saldea, and she grew up with her cousin being the queen. And So, when you hear about being a noble, she grew up as a noble a million times over, Like, she was more than just a noble. She was royalty and grew up in the royal palace pretty much.
Right. You take away Tenobia, she is still the daughter of Bashere, who is one of the great generals, and everyone knows him.
Yep.
And she still ran away.
Well, she ran away because another characteristic that they show over and over again about Saldaean women is they are extremely high-spirited.
Yes.
And
yeah, I mean, and she had 2 older brothers and they both died. And all of a sudden she was like just going to be able to kind of live her best life. And then her parents were hamstringing her into having to learn how to run estates and be a title holder. And she was only 17. She did not want that. She was not prepared for it. And she was like, I want adventure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, was that her or was that the pattern? Was that was that a TAVERN swirl?
Oh gosh. You know what? Hey, Jansen, you are riding down our cul-de-sac, my friend. We think everything's TAVERN.
That being said, I mentioned to Ryan that I was going to raise this question earlier. Now, when you look at the prophecies of the dragon and all of the prophecies that we hear through the books, we don't hear about Faile in them. Why do you think that is?
Do you have thoughts?
I have a few thoughts.
I've been thinking about that since you asked. Also, does Min ever see anything about Faile?
Yes, she does.
Okay, so this is specifically prophecy. Okay.
Yeah, from Min's viewings, those are the only things we see with Faile, which is hovering on as a bird, as a falcon
and the hawk.
Shoulder, across from Barrelane's falcon. And we know that even Min doesn't like Faile either. They have a little bit of a tension between them as well. There's tension. Faile's not likable with a lot of the women.
Well, let's talk about this. She is difficult.
It's very difficult.
Beth, she comes out of like a cannon. Parents like, get away from me, and she's like, nope. He's like, please get away from me, and she's like, nope. You're interesting, blacksmith. I'm going to latch onto you.
She barnacled.
Her cousin's even worse.
I mean, Faile's a girl after my own heart. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, so let's pick up early Faile. What were your opinions, Beth, of early Faile? You loved her?
No, she grew on me as the series went. She at first, I mean, this is the thing. When I first wrote these books, I was the same age as the main characters, right? So I picked up Eye of the World when I was 17 in 1991, and I grew up with these characters, right? So meeting Faile, she seemed like kind of a spoiled, what's the word I'm looking for? Entitled kid. When, especially like you knew there was something, you didn't know who she was and what her background was, but you knew there was more to her than what she was letting on. So I always just got the notion of spoiled, entitled, rich kid,
right? Trust fund girl,
trust fund baby,
who's like, I'm going to Morocco for a year, and then I'm going to come back and right.
But she was capable,
very capable.
Ish.
She proved capable, but also like if you dissect it, like certain things. Like her decision to waylay Perrin and have him like slowly go through the ways while he was like petulant and making him like in the end, yes, she did pull through in the end, but we were robbed of the story of what Perrin could have done if he just got there like days sooner, right? Like maybe he could have gotten a lot more accomplished, and all of that was unnecessary.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of the Faile disparaging comes from, is during that arc itself, with Roland, with her being captured, and Perrin being just straight out My Chemical Romance.
So are
Just
we
so
talking
emo.
about early Faile now, or are we jumping?
Oh, I don't know. We're jumping around. Yeah.
Okay.
we're still-
I was just wondering.
No,
because-
but I was talking early Faile.
Okay.
For sure. This is like yeah, Perrin wants to run back to the Two Rivers, and she's like, "No, Loyal, you made a promise to me." Perrin needed Loyal, so then Perrin's like, "I'm not going to apologize," so he was like following along. Like she slowed that train down, and he was ready to get there. I think way faster.
She did, but she didn't, because if she hadn't gone, then Bane and Chiad also wouldn't have gone, and they were pretty integral in helping defend the Two Rivers.
Not just that, but teaching Faile about the Aiel,
about the Aiel with the hand talk and everything.
which later helped her with Cha
Yeah,
Faile. So.
I mean, so maybe it is the pattern, TAVERN weaving what it does, and but I'm not a fan of Faile's actions during all of that, because that's really when you see that she's just a spoiled rotten brat who's used to getting her own way, and and when it doesn't go well for her, she takes it out on everyone around her. But the growth that you see from her, I think I see, besides Rand, right, who literally has the memories of a 400-year-old man when he goes through veins of gold. Shy of that, I think of the core characters, you see the most personal growth with Faile than you do of anybody else. And I will stand on that hill and die on that hill.
I have to agree. And a lot of that has to do with her POVs, especially when she was a slave to the Shida. You know, she had a lot of inner thought, and you got to see and understand how she grew up and what the lessons that her parents taught her.
Mm-hmm.
She had I don't think there's anybody besides maybe Rand who had a better relationship with their parents in the books.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, they were extremely, extremely close.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should also. I think we should also point out that we generally, especially early on, experience Faile through Perrin's eyes and nose, right?
Oh,
and
God,
so
that's so annoying.
And so when she is reacting in a completely acceptable manner, she responds accordingly and may have a little snip to her, but that's cool, right? But however, Perrin's like sniffing, oh, she smells jealous and she smells angry and she smells, he's smelling things that she is trying to tamp down. She's trying to be a good wife. Or she's like,
Right.
don't worry about it. Don't worry. It's cool. And he's like, but she smells envious. Oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's so what we're hearing is the worst of her, because Perrin is only sniffing these bad emotions, or at least commenting on them.
The extremities, he's mostly, and he's more like wounded by those.
But her actions don't necessarily reflect jealousy. And yet when we hear that Perrin smells it, then we're like, oh, she's being two-timing. She's lying. She's being deceitful, which is normal in healthy relationships.
I know. I
where
can't
you tamp down your jealousy if you have it.
I don't know. I thought you were good. Yeah, I still can't get my dogs to trust me, and it's weird. They're growling all the time.
You imagine
I'm
if you sniffed what your dogs were thinking, Ryan?
Oh, Jesus. No, but in terms of building trust in a young relationship, I understood that. You might call it an unfair advantage, and you might I don't know, begrudge Perrin his reactions, but I think it's fully normal to see someone act in one way, but then having intuitions or tells or anything that make you think, wow, this is not a fully genuine expression of truth. That I would find hard to, in a building relationship stage of that. So I get it, and she is painted in a bad light, but also I think like if we were to somehow be able to like see the story of her life leading up to the moment we meet her, I think we would see that she is actually acting in a fully understated way vis-a-vis her cultural upbringing.
Yeah.
Vis-a-vis like what it actually is like to be a woman in Saldea. So if that is right, like if we had an actual understanding of what it means to grow up in that way, I think we would see that she is in a lot of ways measured.
Well, let me ask you about that, Ryan. So let's say hypothetically in Saldea, TAVERN Bashere says, "All right, well, I need to do this, and I need to rally these." And as a general, right? Would we be cool with his wife saying, "Yeah, okay, cool, honey," and then going and countering what he had said? I mean, MaTsDaGger said it well. Just because it turned out well doesn't mean what she did was right. And I think that a lot of this, it's happy luck that it works out, but she is a manipulative person.
She is.
Yeah.
But you know, one other thing that I was considering, with the exception of TAVERN Bashere and Yearly, every single Saldean kind of puts your back up. If you think about
Yes.
it. Every single one.
Parent
Like-
meets Faile's parents, and they're talking about like their sex life, like in the first chapter.
Well,
I mean,
Faile and her mother had come to
Tame.
blows.
Yeah, I mean, Mazrim Tame is Saldean. You know, like what was the oh my god, what was the lord that was a dark friend in
Bashere's
Meridian?
cousin. I can't remember
the
his name, but I know who you're talking
yeah.
about. Yeah.
Queen Tenobia. You know, every single Saldean that we listen to and hear about is a little bit like,
prickly,
kind of annoying.
prickly,
Yeah, a little prickly.
But I mean, so we have an excuse question mark for her behavior. However, we also recognize that it is abrasive. It is somewhat manipulative. She will tell you what you want to hear and dice out your words. So you said, it's just, she's like, well, no, you said this. You said I could not ride in the car. So I stood outside the car and rode. And like, she's looking for loopholes everywhere.
But isn't that just the sign of a ambitious, intelligent person?
I mean, even Elias's ex-girlfriend stabbed him and then kicked him out.
Right.
So,
I mean, the thing is that when you go a step further, right, and you look at the relationships that Faile has with the people in Perrin's life, right? Like they get to the Two Rivers, they start establishing some order there because there's been an influx of refugees coming in over the mountains of the mist. The town has expanded in size. The Two Rivers is no longer like a bunch of little villages separated. It's becoming more and more of a hub, right?
Yeah.
And Beth, what is her opinion about this whole thing? She hates it. She's like, God damn it, this is Perrin's job. This isn't my job. I hate it.
But she is effective, and the people in the Two Rivers respect her and look up to her
immensely.
And they look at her and they say, well, you are Perrin's wife, but she earns enough merit on her own. You realize that when the wise women or the wisdoms come from the different villages to talk to her, and she has counsel with them. And they're all much older than she is. They've been part of the Two Rivers their entire lives. She's this outsider, and they're coming to her for advice. She is respected because she has the clout. She might be manipulative and spin herself in a good light, but she puts her actions where her words are. What's that expression? She puts her.
She walks the walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff. She
walks with
she
her
walks
mouth.
the walk. She knows what she's doing. She has taken the upbringing that she had in Saldea and uses it to make the Two Rivers a better place in the flux of the change that it's going through, that it would go through whether Perrin was there or not. She and Perrin bring order to it. And I don't think that can be, just kind of tossed aside about her.
Yeah.
She had a very important role in the Two Rivers.
Very important. No, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. She also lied to Perrin a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
And kept things from him a lot.
But didn't he do that to her too? Yes.
One thing. The thing that he was the most scared of. The thing that he kept from everybody.
That he loved Berlane?
No. That being said, I do think that it's possible that in the TV show, he sleeps with Berlane.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You think
can't wait to see that.
Be in the show? That's a different conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I think if they all are in the show, I think Faile may sleep with Roland.
Take me, blacksmith.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Take me, blacksmith. I don't think that they're gonna have sex. Actually, as I just recreated it, I don't see it happening.
I hope not.
Take me.
Well, I mean, Rand never had sex with Egwene in the books, so
Yeah,
That's true.
We'll see what happens. I think,
I mentioned before there was. All right, so let's actually talk about Faile on the Two Rivers. So, is she right to guide Perrin to become the Lord, to accept the big ass manor house? Is she correct to guide him to say these people need a leader, even though he's like, these people have never had a leader, and I'm younger than most of them anyway, so who am I?
Yes, I think she is.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
She, the way that she was raised to be a partner to her husband, not someone that sat back, not someone that, was a wallflower and walked behind. Elias said it best, a leopard wants another leopard. And
I don't know. She just smelled satisfied to me right now. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that's and I think Perrin had to grow a little bit to, understand that he had a very strong wife. Because I don't think Perrin realized how strong his wife actually was.
No.
Until he started realizing that she was his equal and his partner. Perrin is a very strong person. As much as they write about him being timid and being quiet, as far as non-channelers go, he may be the most powerful man on the planet.
Right.
He's a very strong guy. Physically, mentally, he's been through it emotionally, and she's been his partner. So you would expect his equal, which Robert Jordan loves to write about, equality, would be an extremely strong woman, just like Dira was to Davram.
Yeah.
Learn from her mom.
So we agree that the Two Rivers were going to change regardless, and Faile just helped facilitate that in a graceful manner.
Look who would have stepped in there if Faile and Perrin hadn't shown up.
Senbui, baby.
No.
No.
What?
Luke.
Lord Luke.
Lord Luke. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Slayer.
Lord Luke.
Absolutely 100% would have been the person that they turned to. They were already turning to him.
Well, hold on. Didn't Faile kind of flirt with Luke a little bit?
But she apologized too.
Well, but still.
Well, so this is the
Okay.
thing. This is the thing.
She
And
didn't get him out.
I'm not going to hold her using her wiles to try to impress another hunter of the horn, because that's what he had presented himself as, correct?
Mhm.
He was a fellow hunter. She basically just took all of her upbringing and her bearing and presented herself as a noble woman who is also a hunter of the horn. She wasn't like overtly batting her eyelashes at him, and she wasn't being Barrelane to Luke, like Barrelane.
Yeah, I guess you're
was
right. I mean,
Perrin's
if
point
you
of
put it
view,
like
too.
that, you're right.
It was also
I mean-
from Perrin's point of view too, who is also a jealous guy.
That's a good
Right.
point.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think the thing that we have to remember is, like what Jansen said earlier, the fact that we see most of the Faile that we see leading up to the storyline where she's taken by the shadow is from Parent's point of view. And we aren't hearing what Faile's thinking when all of that's going on. And that just does her a disservice in the books, in the narrative of the books. But I think you can tell by her actions and the responses that other people have to her. They might not like her, but they hella respect her. That's my thing, right? They might not love her. She might not be their favorite person. It might not be the person that you want to be at your sleepover, but
Right.
you know,
Right.
you know.
Well,
that when-
and to your point, Beth, when we do get her points of view when she is captured, she is in survival mode. She is doing everything she can possibly do. She's using her manipulative wiles to the best of her, because she thinks, she's like, oh, Roland, I think kind of fucking likes me. So
she rebuffed Roland at first. She realized that Roland was going to save her life. So she let Roland be Roland without, she didn't ever initiate anything with Roland. She just let Roland protect her. That was
he
for
kept bringing
her.
gifts and stuff. And
Well, that's why I think in the show, it's never going to be about her killing Messima. What she doesn't tell Perrin is that she didn't sleep with Roland. That's what I think is going to happen on the show.
And you know what? And I don't blame her in this situation as well.
I don't
How many
either.
knots did
Tharaba's
Perrin have?
terrified. I mean, you have to consider the stress she's under in that situation
Mm-hmm.
with Galena and Tharava, and I mean,
Ravana.
terrifying women
Mm-hmm.
that she has no control over. Like, could snap her neck in a second, and she's got to try to get out of that and lead people out of that. Like,
So let's talk about this situation. How do we explain Faile?
Well,
What happened here?
right
guys?
place, right time.
What?
She was at the right place at the right time, and when she saw that those Tyrion and Carrion and noble youths were trying to quote unquote play at Aiel, she had more insight as a wetlander than anybody else, because of her teachings from Bane and Chiad. So they automatically, as soon as they respected her more than anybody else, other than an Aiel, because she knew more about them, and she told them that she could teach them. And she did. She settled them down. She made them a viable force.
Is this an example of temporary TAVERN?
I think it has to be, because I think the entire making of Perrin's army was TAVERN work. It was talked about at least 3 separate times in the books. It had to be, because there were so many things that happened.
You think is Faile being a temporary TAVERN, or is it Perrin's TAVERN nature affecting?
I think
things?
it's Perrin. Well, remember what Varen said to Matt later on in the books. If Randall Thor wasn't alive, you'd be one of the strongest TAVERN to ever live. Now, we have to believe that Perrin is equal to Matt. So he was too. And his worked in different ways. Matt, I mean, we saw the TAVERN.
But Matt got the little band to rally around him against his wishes. Faile got a band to rally around her, mostly of Guy Shannon stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but remember when Faile was formed. Faile was formed when Perrin was away chasing Brand during trying to get him before Dumai's Wells. Because you remember, Perrin was worried after Dumai's Wells was over and they were making their way back to Cairhien with Rand. Colliver had taken the throne for herself. Perrin was like sick to his stomach. Where is Faile? Where is Faile? You know, Faile is acting as one of her ladies in waiting. But all during this time, Faile was building this spy network. Yep. That's what her mother did. That's what Saldaean women do. They act as the eyes and ears on behalf of their husband. Yep. She was doing that masterfully. That's really what Faile is. It's not, I mean, it is a wannabe Aiel society, but she took those people and groomed them and turned them into her spy network. Yep. That's what Faile is. And that's why when she was captured by the Shadow and some of her Faile people were captured, the females, because I think the men were all killed, right? It was just the females that were spared. They had the inner mechanism, mechanics going, and they were able to use those tools to help reach out and branch out and be as successful in the Shadow as Gaishan as they were. I mean, that's the way I look at it. It might be Perrin's Tavernness, but freaking Faile is a beast. Faile is a very competent, self-assured, driven person in her own right.
And if you also consider all of the other strong women in this series had a lot more help than Faile did.
Yep.
From a lot stronger women than Faile had around her. And that should say a lot about her character. Egwene had Swan, Elaine had Nynaeve and a bunch of other very strong women. Faile built hers from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
I will say
that's always right. No, but she got the job done.
I don't think Perrin ever really appreciated just what he had with Faile. The power that she does, maybe at the very end. But overall, he did underestimate her quite a bit.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. I definitely
was like, oh, no, this is dangerous. I mean, I need you to stay at the Two Rivers and, manage stuff. I'll be back. And she's like, yeah, right. And does her own thing anyways.
I mean, she saved his life.
Several times.
Yeah. Several times. Yep.
Multiple times. Yeah, he saved her life too. But I mean.
Yeah. Faile is also one of, besides, I think, Gaul and Slayer, and a few randoms that went to Tel'aran'rhiod twice. Well, she was saved there twice by Perrin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I will say that as far as relationships go, the Hedgehog Dream Terangrial and Perrin fighting through that room to get to her with Hopper in the Dreamland was one of the more powerful examples of love and devotion that occurs there. And on reread, I was tearful when, Perrin's just all bloody, just tore up. And she's like, you came for me. And he's like, my falcon.
As opposed to the first read, he was just like,
I'm like, hey, what? I'm all, come on, let's get to the end. I'm not a good reader.
All right, well, we're getting to the halfway point, and I want to do a special little segment. I'm calling Ryan Experiments with AI for the first time.
Whoa!
All right.
We got theme music, guys.
All right, so for this segment, I want everyone to picture this. You're on a website called Canva. You pay for a subscription. You discover that they have what is called text-to-image AI image generating machine. So I said, obviously, I need to look into this. quickly.
I'm closing my eyes. I don't have eyelids.
Literally, the first thing I type into this machine are these words: Jansen Lashley Haynes and Wheel of Time.
All right, I'm gonna close my eyes. All right, I'm picturing it.
All right. Jansen Lashley Haynes.
How would they even know?
And Wheel
what
of
does
Time.
Canva know, right, Ryan?
Well, let's see. Canva. First image. Drum roll, please.
Oh my god. Worst
I love it. I love it. So
That is
much.
so good. Jansen, that is so good.
All right. Yes. And that's called Ron.
Jansen, that is
All right.
so good.
Okay, let's do two more.
You got 2 more?
Oh,
Okay.
I
I'm
have
closing
14
my
of
eyes.
these.
Okay, I'm closing.
Okay. Number 2. Again, Wheel of Time.
Okay.
AI.
Yep.
Jansen Lashley Haynes.
Whoa!
Oh,
Damn it, Jansen. You are so heroic.
but how did the AI? How did it figure that I had hair?
Like luxurious.
Oh, it gets better. All right, all right.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
All right.
you keep that hair under your hoodie. I didn't know you had such long hair.
Oh my god.
Oh no! I'm closing my eyes.
All right, and third, let's just go for the last one in this round. Here we go.
Let's
Oh,
That was
yes.
impressive. The second one was the best. Actually, well, it's a tie between them.
That looks like Jansen Calrissian.
Yeah, yes. Janseno Calrissian.
That picture looked like Shaft in Wakanda, man. Like,
These are crazy. Oh, it gets so much better. Oh, at one point, I just add the word flaming sword.
oh my god.
All right. Just let's.
Oh my god.
I had to
So next is Jansen Lashley Haynes and Flaming Sword.
Yes.
Okay. God damn. Thank you, Canva.
Hanson, you look so thrilled right now.
I think we just blew his like if you took the thing off again, I think we would see little blood coming out of your ears. We just blew your mind.
Oh my god.
Let's put them up there. Dan, to your top left.
I was about to say, how is that dude sitting on his mantle in the back?
Yeah, I put him up there.
Here Jansen looks like the
That's
bass player for
awesome.
Prince and the Revolution.
He does.
too.
Sure.
He does.
For sure. Yep, for sure.
Oh,
All right, amazing.
Very cool.
There's so much more.
I can't believe it.
We got 70s.
Oh my god.
Oh, and Skeeter, did it
That's-
just get hot here? All right, I hear you, man. Yeah, we have that mullet.
All right, actually, this is a great question now that we were kind of diverted, and I wanted to start talking about the show. Yes, it is confirmed that we are going to have Faile in season 2. I don't believe we have an actor named, but who would our fan casting be?
Wow, that's funny. I just did Star Trek, and I forgot the actress I worked with, but she would actually make a perfect Faile.
You have Faile right above your head, right? You're looking that way. You're like in your silhouette. See, I see
Yeah,
that
it's
right
right
there.
right
There's
there.
Mario.
strong countenance. Boom.
I love that background, by the way, Jansen.
Thank you.
A lot. I would say a good Faile would be Sarah Silverman. Picture it, guys.
She's 15. All right, so I will
All right,
pick.
no, okay, you're right.
I'll pick the whoever is playing Wednesday.
That's too young.
No, she's 15.
No,
minutes.
she's
Yeah, I
she's
guess.
that's oh my god, that's Jenna. what is
Isn't
her-
she? Isn't
She's 20
Faile
in
hella
real life.
young?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Faile's
no,
17.
you're right.
Yeah. The actress who plays Wednesday.
Yep.
Why can't I remember her name right now?
I can't. What is it? It's why can't I?
Jenny Ortega. Jenny Ortega
Okay.
is who that is.
You know who would play a good Faile? What's Ashton Kutcher's wife's name?
Mila Kunis.
Mila Kunis.
Mrs.
That's not a
Kuchner.
bad. That's not a bad
Yeah,
pull. I was actually
cool.
thinking Arya Stark. Who played Arya Stark?
Oh yeah, she might make a good fight.
Oh, see, when I think of Faile, I think of somebody more of and I don't have somebody to cast because I'm not in like on the young actor scene anymore. It's just not like, but I think of somebody from like Middle Eastern descent,
Yes, definitely.
Iranian or
Persian.
Persian, Moroccan, somebody who's of a Middle Eastern heritage. That's in my head what I picture.
Because of the Saldaean nose.
Well, and very thick, luxurious hair, like dark, luxurious.
Well,
like,
and I would love see. So I always pictured Faile as having like somewhat maybe Japanese or Korean features to a certain degree, but I
Maybe Asian
don't
as well,
want
yeah.
the like. Besides Lan, there's not many Asian characters, and I don't want an abrasive female Asian character.
Well,
If
there's
that makes sense.
Min. Min is an
Oh
Asian.
well, Min, yeah, correct. But she's not abrasive. She has the strength that, like, I just don't want that like stereotype, I suppose, like of a Korean woman who's like, or whatever, who like this type of like hard woman. I would rather
Like a tiger mom.
like
Yeah,
a tiger mom. Yeah, that's the best description I can come up with. Yeah, I would hate for that to happen.
I see that. It depends because, in the books at least, the Saldaean race they talk about the Saldaeans and their culture and them as a people a lot, an incredible amount of information about them and how they look and everything. So the nose is definitely a big part.
Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, the nose is a very big part of it. I'm interested to see if they're of Asian descent, just like of the other border members that we've seen. Because we've seen we've seen people from Malkir, and they're different, and they're all different races. And we've seen people of Shinar, and they're also of all different races, but the leading classes seem to be of Asian descent, like at Lord Agomar, and so we'll see. I'm interested to see what they do, because so many of the Saldaeans that we hear about in the books are actually related, so they're not going to be all that different from each other, you know?
Right.
We'll see.
I'd also say the Shinarans, the Asian culture carried to the armor that was on the wall. I got
absolutely
a samurai type feel from that.
And remember, Shiriam is also Saldaean.
Yep.
Right.
With red hair and tilted green eyes.
Yep. And the bold Saldaean nose.
Bold Saldaean nose, yeah.
How do you think they're going to try and portray this in the show? Are they going to do this through like a physical characteristics fight, or is it going to be through dress?
I think they might actually take away a lot of the Saldaean things from the characters in the show. Well, I mean, here's one perfect example. In the books, Lan is completely different. Completely different.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I think that they're going to do a lot of that because it makes it easier for production. I think that the Bashirs and the Queen will all be the same, but I think everyone else will be different. I think that Shiriam and Mazrim Taim will be totally different. I think that I think they're gonna switch it up.
And I really appreciate that as well.
I do as well.
And with the Bashirs, they can go an entirely different route, and it right now it's a tabula rasa. It's an open slate because we've already said, all right, we're doing what we want in regards to representation that we feel works best for the show and the characters. So it doesn't necessarily what matters. Is every Damani going to have copper skin? whatever that is.
Right.
You know,
Are all the sea folk going to be really, really dark? You know,
Right.
that's a big one. And because that played so much into it, and I think that may change as well because we see what they're doing with the Aiel and who Avienda is. So you know, I think they're going to change all that. It would be very interesting to me if all the sea folk look the same.
I think if there was going to be any race, though,
it would be them.
It would be them if they were to be more of a
I agree with that. Definitely, it would definitely be
uniform characteristics. It would be the sea folk because
I don't remember seeing much. I'm sorry, I don't remember seeing much diversity on the Shanshan boat that wiped out that little girl. They all looked kind of.
They were all wearing makeup and paint, though. They were very.
But yeah, and we do know that from the books that the Shanshan are all different.
All different.
All of them are different. Yeah. They all look completely.
Selusha was tall, buxom, and she was basically Nordic.
Yeah.
And she
got so
exact opposite, right?
Everyone's always like, "Bye, Selusha."
Yeah.
Ryan, so no technical fouls yet so far this show?
None yet. Everyone's doing great.
Okay. All right, cool. Because I stepped on the court a couple times to argue. I'm like,
All right, back to Faile.
Yeah, let's go back to
Faile. Back to Faile. So one of the other things we know about Faile is that.
By the way, if I had a coffee shop, I would have a drink called the Chai Faile. All right, go on.
I don't believe that she actually believed that Piran was actually TAVERN until much later in the books. She took more convincing than a lot of other people did, because she wanted him to do other things than what other people who were trying to follow what the quote-unquote wheel wanted. And even Moraine said it, she doesn't see it the way that some of us do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't think she really appreciates it until the beginning of book 6, Lord of Chaos, where Perrin's like, he's pulling me. I honestly, I gotta go. And I like to think that she kind of caught on there that he can't help this. It's that damn Tavernus.
Yep. I think that's when she started understanding it. I think she fully understood it when she realized she even talked about it when the army, right after Meridan, the Battle of Meridan, when she realized that she even said it in her point and to Perrin how slaves automatically pick up weapons and are automatically good at them. You know, people are flocking to you, and she's like, "This is really TAVERN work. This is, nothing like I've ever seen." And it's funny, but I think it was understated how much popularity to the people that Piran and Matt actually gained. They became literally celebrities. Like everybody, they were on everybody's tongue. And imagine what it's like. On one of my side jobs, I work for a lot of celebrities and a lot of, famous people and extremely, extremely wealthy people. And their spouses, they act differently than a lot of other people.
I'm not shocked.
and I'm thinking of like, how would, people like Faile act, with her husband gaining all of this notoriety, all of this fame, and people just following him as soon as they meet him. And wouldn't she even be mesmerized by him too? Like,
well, but that's what she wanted for him.
She became the momager. She became the Kris Jenner. She's like, hey, let's get a big house. They'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. We saved their ass.
Yeah. You deserve this.
Throw up that damn flag. The flag, the wolf flag, was flying above the flag of Manetheren. This was a rebel camp. If you're Andor, it's like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Very true.
That was all her idea too. You're right.
All her ideas, speaking of that, is to kill Massima. We know that it was maybe for the best. Massima was becoming problematic. I would have liked to kind of see where his arc may have gone further a little bit. But she goes behind Perrin's back and kills Massima. How do we feel about that? I guess it was a big turning point, but it was again subterfuge.
It was, but we saw many times in the books that Perrin, Rand, and Matt could be wrong. They weren't always right in some of the moves that they made, some of the things that they did. And Rand often was wrong.
Can you give me? How about? But I think we're talking like wrong moralistically, correct?
Well, not just wrong moralistically. I'm talking about like
Outcomes.
The wise ones who have some insight into the future and into life told him that he needed to die. I don't believe that the three wise ones would tell you that something had to happen or needed to happen without holding some serious weight and thought to it, because they're wise ones. And so he not only did he have the wise ones telling him that this man needed to die, he also had Aes Sedai telling him. And, he was trying to be loyal to Rand and do what Rand ordered him to do. But at the same time, Massima's followers were rampantly killing and torturing people. It was Perrin himself said Massima was a madman. And then at the end, one thing we also get failed from her own point of view saying something, sometimes it's a wife's job to do things that her husband can't do.
Jansen, you're making my point. All right, Beth, what are your thoughts?
Wait, I'm getting a flag for that.
The
first yellow.
Ryan, that's the best use of props I've ever seen you use. I'm really proud of you.
This is the reason why at the beginning I said that Faile was one of the most human of the people in
100.
Because in the books, in things like stories about heroes, we all want the protagonist to be a certain way. But when you're human and you're thinking on the fly, I think sometimes you may do things like this. I've definitely met people in my life who do it, and I can with 100% certainty say that given the right situation, my wife would absolutely say that exact same thing.
And would be like, all right, cool, Jansen, you just do whatever. I'll see you tomorrow, and then take care of all this shit behind the scenes.
Maybe.
Beth, you were saying something, and then you dropped.
I was, my internet is acting it's a bubble of evil. It knows I'm here and I'm talking. It's a bubble of evil. I was just going to say that I agreed with everything that Jansen said about Faile, but let's add one more level to it in this bigger scheme of things. Is that if Faile had not been taken by the Shadow, Perrin and Talonvor never would have gone off to try to find more gays on his own and then come across the Shanchan. The Shanchan never would have met with Perrin. He is the Wolf King in the Shanchan prophecies. And Tylee Kurgan recognizes him immediately for who he is. And none of that, and because of Tylee Kurgan's relationship with Perrin that she developed during the fight with the Shadow, the respect that she got for him, she's able to go back to Tuon and say, this man has honor. This is somebody who, none of those things, the Shanchan falling into line for the last battle and all of that, would have come to play if Faile hadn't been where she was when she was, and I mean the domino
That's
effect
crazy.
of everything.
I mean, think about this too. Karen and Matt both adored Tylee. They
Right.
both
And-
liked her a
Yeah.
lot.
And Faile, at the end of the day, is a woman who is going to make sure her house is in order, no matter what happens, come hell or high water.
That's a
The people
Saldaean
that
wife's
she
job.
feels she has a vested interest in. She is going to make sure that what's done is correct. And so ultimately, Massima was just a pawn in the greater scheme of things, because if Rand hadn't sent Perrin, right, none of it would have gone on. And so he was a means to an end. He had actually very little to do with anything other than being a means to an end. And
Yeah, he was
I don't
always a
think his
means.
impact was going to be anywhere near as,
Well, without Massima,
Great.
we would have never had Queen Alejandra.
True. So, I mean, there's
There
just
were
so
like
many
3 or 4
small
queens,
moving
yeah.
parts that are all intricate. And it's really Faile who saved Alejandra during the
I know.
entire time. She broke down. She
All
was
right.
you
All
know.
right, well, Jansen, so to that point, you just said without Massima, we don't have Queen Alejandra.
Yes.
After Faile takes her unilateral action against him and kills him, we don't know what else he could have possibly have done.
Well,
That could
we
it
know,
be
we know
good-
what he was planning to do. We know he was planning to go over into a new area, gather more followers, and start over again. That was his plan. He was going to go become, the prophet again. I think that, there's also a couple of other things that happened. Massima was tainted by somebody. I don't know who. I still haven't figured out who it was under the Mask of Mirrors who went and visited him. I've been thinking a lot on that. But
it falls in
Massima
line with,
was-
for that to be like a Pat and Fane style, right? Like that seems to
it
be
is, but it was
That
also
corruption,
something.
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, it was also something that Grendel or Mogideon might have done as well. Showed up under the guise of the dragon.
See, what bugs me, Massima to me was the protagonist. He was the hero of his story. And honestly, he was not wrong. He
Was
maybe
he
did
ever
not
really
control,
the hero
but
of his story, though?
Say again?
Was he ever really the hero of his story, though?
I would think yes. So he
No.
thought that he was doing that he was the most pious, that he was the most reverent, that he was the most devoted to the dragon, who, by the way, guess what, is the avatar of the light, and you should try to support as much as you can.
He was a misguided religious
He
zealot.
was a misguided zealot, yes, but he was the hero of his own story. There was nothing that he thought he was doing that was wrong.
Oh, in his own point of view. I see what you're saying.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like the White Cliffs.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they're doing well and doing right. And I guess Faile, to her own degree, thinks the same way when she says, yeah, don't worry about it, Perrin. I'm not going to do that. Bye. I'm going to go do it.
All right, Brother Dan, a poll is up asking everyone who tainted Massima. Was it Mogideon, Grendel, Pat and Fane, or someone else?
Ooh, poll.
Yep. All right, everyone jump on that poll. Spin around. Let us see all the angles.
I actually think it was someone else.
You can vote if you're watching the show.
Come on.
The Faile. So when Faile gets rescued, they are buried beneath a building that has crumbled. Morghese is there. She is able to use what little power she can to channel to wave a little flag.
Wave a scarf, a red
Wave a little
scarf.
Yeah.
And Roland rescues her, as well as Jordine and Kilhuin. And guess what? Lucille and Faile, this is straight from the companion. Quote, Lucille and Faile stabbed Jordan and Kinqueen in the back. End quote.
Well, that's only after Perrin started fighting with Roman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right around the same
God.
exact.
But gosh, I mean, don't we feel a little bit for Roland and his two buddies?
The brotherless.
Yeah, you do,
Well,
and
of
you know
course
that.
you do. But
You do, and you know that Faile does too.
at the same time, you don't. You know, because it's like they were the ones who left clan. They were the ones who refused to follow Rand as the true Karakan. And they're the ones who joined the Shido and let them do whatever they wanted while they watched. You know,
They
so
challenged Jansen. They challenged our conception of the Shido. We thought the Shido were bloodthirsty assholes, and these people, especially Roland, showed that there was love, compassion, empathy.
But Roland wasn't Shido.
but they weren't Shido. That's what
They
I'm
weren't
saying.
Shido.
They were
Yeah.
brotherless, right? But they
They fell in with the Shido
Yeah.
because they had nowhere else to go.
Well, okay, but to a certain degree, it's semantics. I mean, they were.
What do you mean
Right.
semantics?
I mean, I don't know.
Stop
Okay.
that. That's
The
bullshit.
Shido, the
But
Shido,
they were Gaishan to the brotherless, which is weird. Then
yeah, the Shido, I believe, were some of the worst groups in the entire. Well, I mean, because if you think about it, the wise ones, they were all lying murderers. You know, they didn't care. They murdered their own. They broke just about every single
Code,
rule
yeah.
that Aiel, follow.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it was horrible. It was the worst. They were the worst. They at the end they were raping people. They were, just public drunkenness. They had slaves. Like they were the worst. Like, and Faile had to live 3 months through this. So yeah, that was a huge part of her maturation process, along with Morgaze and a couple of other people too.
So is that again? So what are we attributing that to? Is that what they brought over with them, or is that again some sort of corruption with their dealings with Forsaken?
Well,
I
that
think-
Savannah had intimate relations with both Samuel and Grundle, right?
And Coladin also had
and
intercourse
Coladin did as well.
relations with
I don't know if I knew
Asmodean.
Whoa!
The whole meeting, the whole
Savannah?
Narbaha, the whole full box thing that that he gave
Kadir, when he was Kadir. Or no, he wasn't Kadir, he was the other guy with Macia.
well,
Right,
it said
and-
didn't it say it was a strange wetlander?
Yes, it was a strange, but it was
Yeah,
Samuel.
but he had a name though. It was
Right, but it was someone that the Savannah did not know,
Correct.
correct.
and she would have
And
known
he gave her
Kadir.
the talking box, and it was really, he gave her the box that he would say, "This will open a gateway for you, and this is how you can invade." And he really ultimately just spread all these different sects of Shido all over the Westlands to wreak havoc. So that was directly Samuel's plan.
Yeah, the Shido, they were, before we ever even met them, the Aiel that we did meet called them stinking Shido. So they had a reputation of being underhanded far
Kadar.
before.
Kadar was his name.
Kadar.
That is hilarious.
I don't
Shido Smith.
So Beth and Jansen, do we see a correlation or a relationship between Faile and how Chafael responded to her and Egwin, and how the White Tower novices kind of? I mean, I think I pull a correlation there. I see at least not intentional, but I see that there is a similarity. What do you guys think?
I see the similarity in as far as leadership goes, and putting together people that you need for help. But I would consider, Faile more of, a Rihanna Corley, as far as,
Fair.
maintaining everyone the right way, with a firm hand. Egwene ruled with her presence and her, her being the Amerlin, and with the power that entails. Like Faile did it from the ground up, and she worked from will alone. And it was like Rihanna Corley. Rihanna Corley had a strong will, and was able to keep all of these women in line. And did it with a firm hand, and I think Faile did the same thing, just like Dira would have done, which she did. Which is, we can see why she was so angry at Rand for taking things away from her husband that she felt that she should have power over.
Oh, interesting. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the reasons. Like Rand, she never ever gave Rand respect, because Rand never gave her the respect that most Saldaean men give Saldaean women. Because Rand made so many mistakes culturally, because he was the Dragon Reborn. He didn't care. He's like, I have one goal, and it's not to understand where you're from. So that's one of the reasons why Dira, because Dira, remember, they also said the Saldaean armies, and they were always the most sophisticated and the most neat and the most in order and orderly, because they all had their wives with them, and they had specific jobs that Saldaean women do, and one of them is to help run that, and they did it. The Saldaeans are prickly people. They like to get yelled at. They like to yell at you, and
right.
Yeah,
well, Beth, what do you think about this in regards to the comparison between Egwene and Faile? MaTsDaGger says that Egwene led by example, Faile led by sheer force of will.
I think sheer force of will is a little bit of an overstatement, because
That's
garnered the respect of the people who
I thought she
worked
was
with
nimble,
her and fed up to her. She also led by example. She went and put herself in harm's way. Egwene was groomed to become the Amerlin, right? I mean, she was in a very short amount of time, right? I mean, in a relatively short amount of time, we see her from innkeeper's child to really powerful woman. And whereas Faile grew up in nobility, in a royal family. She comes by those of over a lifetime, but the people that are closest to her are people that they're not lifelong friends. They're not people that she's, had close associations with. So I think actually Egwene and Faile are pretty similar in their leadership styles. Faile is just much more, she gets her own hands dirty. Whereas Egwene has other people, because of her position, who can get her, their
What's
hands
funny
dirty
is,
for her.
who you can compare her to, which she is a lot alike, is Barrelane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Opposites.
Opposites.
Or no, what's
peas
that thing?
in a pod.
Yeah, they're very similar in a lot of ways.
Very, very similar.
And that again, I don't have any hate in my heart for Barrelane either.
Neither do I. I actually like.
I mean, she's a very. They're both very accomplished, very driven, very protective people for what's theirs. And for Barrelane, it was always her city state, Mayan as the leader of Mayan and her people. And for Faile, it's whoever is in her line of sight. Got my eye on you. You're mine now. Mine. Mm-hmm. That's Faile. You know what I mean? Like, what's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. Yeah. And if you're mine, you're mine. And that's what Faile, that's her stance on things, I think.
All right, real quick, let's pivot to the television show, before we have to end. I would like to get you guys' predictions on how, kind of what to expect from Faile. How will they introduce her? What age do you think she'll be?
Ryan, let me piggyback. Is she going to be a hunter of the horn? Is that even going to be a thing?
Is that a thing?
All right,
I
go.
do
I'm sorry.
believe she is, because I do believe that they're not going to use. I think that they're going to go from Saldaea. I don't think they're going to go through a portal stone. I think that they're going to have a very long journey, and I think that they're going to go through Ilion.
Brian's getting his flag ready. Oh, no portal stones. Oh, flag on the play.
No portal stones. No, I agree.
right.
Actually, no, I agree.
No, they actually said that there weren't going to be any portal stones.
And
they were merging those with the waygates.
And they said the guy who Perrin, Marcus Rutherford, said that there's a time jump in a recent interview. He said that there's a significant time jump going on between season 1 and season 2.
So I believe they're going to go through Ilion, and we're going to see a bit of the ceremony in the Square of Tammuz. And I believe that's where we may see Faile.
Oh, I hope so. To me, it doesn't make sense to have a hunt for the horn.
No, I think
if the whole country of Saldaea, or at least the guards, all know it's just buried right below the freaking throne in Faldara.
I didn't love that reveal in season 1. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't the biggest fan of that. But
so yeah, I'm confused whether we're even going to have a hunt for the horn.
No, they have to have the hunt of the horn because they have to.
I think I think the hunt is actually going to be a real hunt. I think they're going.
Right.
I think as Padden Fane is running across the country, they're going to be sending pigeons out saying we must stop him, and that's going to be the hunt of the horn. I think
it's happening, right? Oh, okay, so they're going to
about that. I don't think it's going to
become
public knowledge that the horn is out. I think what's going to happen is it's going to be a hybrid between what goes on in the book and in the show, because you have to remember, Faile meets Perrin when he's with Moraine and Lan, and they're chasing Rand on his way to Tyr, correct? So that she comes across them. She's like, something's up with you guys. I'm gonna hang out with you. This is, I'm Mandarb. And then Perrin's like, that's Mandarb,
you're a horse name.
That's how the whole Faile thing came to be.
We have not heard the terms Mandarb or Aldib yet in the show. Just a second.
No, we haven't, but I don't think we will. But
we have heard Bella though.
Yeah, we did.
Yes,
we did just once. Bella, don't. Yeah.
Did it sound like this?
No, it did not. It was nowhere near as
Dang
glorious
it.
as that.
I think they missed the ripe opportunity.
They did. But I think the way we're going to meet Faile is when Perrin is with the group, with Uno and everybody pursuing Fane for the horn.
So do we meet Gaul as well then?
No.
I
don't think we're going to get.
I think if we're going to have it, it will be a cold open.
It's going to be a cold. Yes, it's going to be the hunter. The ceremony for the hunters of the horn is going to be a cold open.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that happening, and I also think that Faile is going to meet them somehow similarly in the way that she met them in the books. Except there's not going to be any Moraine. It's just going to be, and what Dana Lou just said is very valid. I mean, if they're going to interject the whole getting the horn, there's just so many unanswered questions right now to really be able to theory craft about what could happen, because Matt's not present. So many key people who were part of the hunt in TGH aren't going to be in that capacity. So like, how is Matt going to end up where Matt's going to be? There's just so many things. Like, I do think Faile will be hunting for the horn. I do think she will meet them. but I'm not sure if she's going to have a big presence, if it's something where we just meet her in one episode and then we see her again more down the road, they cross paths again. I don't know. I don't have enough knowledge.
We're running out of time. Ryan, let me ask real fast. What do you guys think happens with Perrin and Faile in the Fourth Age? They are assumably the monarchs of Saldea. They are the lords of the Two Rivers. They are the Wolf King and Faile and his falcon. So what do you think happens? Do they stay together? I think they break up.
No. Oh, what? No,
Yeah.
she's going to abdicate the throne to her younger brother. She's not going to be in Saldea. She's going to abdicate her throne to her younger brother, and she's going to go live her best life with Perrin as the Lord and Lady of the Two Rivers. And she's not ever going to become the Queen of Saldea.
Yeah,
I like that.
I think they will become the king and queen of Saldea.
Oh, Jansen, we're losing you.
Oh no.
Yep.
We'll let your internet. God dang tech monsters! All right, there you are. Say hi, Jansen.
Okay. Today.
They all because
All right, we're just gonna have to.
I'm sorry, I turned into a robot there for a sec. Did you drop it?
I did for a second. Yeah, just see if we come back. Nope. Yeah, he's.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
dang
what the
it.
hell is going on?
Had some
Internet
internet
in Los
gremlins
Angeles
today.
is notoriously dodgy.
All right, so Jansen, while we're waiting for Jansen, Beth, what's going on in your channel? What's going on? What's going on? Give us some updates.
Horizon.
So I'm pretty much just live streaming video gameplay right now. Currently replaying Horizon Zero Dawn, which is one of my favorite story RPGs of all time.
May I tell you, Beth, my son is playing the current version of Horizon and echoed the same
I
sentiment
am
that
going
the
to be
original
playing
is really
that
good.
next. Yeah, I'll be playing Horizon Forbidden West right after I'm done with Horizon Zero Dawn. And then after that, I'm going to be jumping into The Last of Us Part 2 because I recently streamed The Last of Us Part 1. But I want to wait till the TV show is over because I don't want to spoil people for the show. And then the new Star Wars game's coming out in April. I'm so excited.
What is your favorite Star Wars game that's come out?
KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights
so
of the
2003.
Knights of the Republic.
Yes, best Star Wars RPG ever. It's just amazing, and I wish I've heard a rumor that they're making a remake of it. But yeah, here's hoping. Fingers crossed.
I like the was it the Clone Wars that had the multiplayer that had like the 50 on 50.
Oh, you're talking about Star Wars Galaxies?
I don't know.
Or Battlefront or
Battlefront. Maybe it was
There's
Battlefront.
been a lot of Star Wars.
Yeah, maybe it was Battlefront. I like the 50 on 50 where you're just a bunch of stormtroopers trying to shoot a bunch of rebels, and then suddenly Luke Skywalker's there just killing everyone.
You're like, oh, I only died 19 times this round.
I only died 19 times.
Right. Exactly.
Well, Beth, I think that watching video games it depends on who is playing and hosting. And I think that you are compelling. You are fun to watch. So, guys, seriously, just put it on the background and just have it going. It's fun hearing Beth die. She's like, oh, man. No, it's cool. Seriously.
I die a lot, and I don't take myself too seriously unless I happen to make a mistake and start streaming Overwatch, and then I do take myself too seriously, and I can only do that for a couple hours. Like,
well, it's cool to be like, all right, I'm streaming and I'm not very good.
Well, I mean,
I'm streaming and I'm not very good, so let's just
watch
have
me die
fun.
a lot. Let's have fun and watch me die a lot.
Let's just have fun. Yes.
Yeah. So, and I do plan on I was doing like little TikTok videos of my reread of the series, but I needed to take a break from that because I've read and reread the books like 4 times in the last 3 years, and like the full series, start to finish. And I was just a little burned out on Wheel of Time. Never thought that would happen, but it has. And so I'm struggling now even just to get through a non Wheel of Time audiobook at this point. So I've been stuck on the same one for like a month. Like halfway.
Is that why we had to bribe you to be on the show? We're like, come on, Beth. And you're like, I'm so burnt out. And we're like, come on, Will. Come on, Will.
All right. What's your writer?
So, but I will get back into the Wheel of Time again. Probably right around JordanCon. I'll start listening again just to get like super pumped up, and then I'll start doing my little chapter reviews on TikTok again, probably. So we'll see. But yeah,
let's go.
That's me.
Well, if you want puppet input, let us know.
I always love puppet input.
If you want a famous actor input, Jansen.
Hey, I'll take any input from anyone as long as they don't troll me.
Right. Yeah. So like, within Frozen right now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Jansen. Your internet is like, hey, we're at almost 90 minutes. I'm going to freeze.
Well, it was perfect timing. Anyways, thank you so much, Beth.
Thank you guys for having me. I love you guys.
Yeah, you're going to be like our new recurring guest. If we're going to get you on as much as possible. I love talking to you.
This is like here. Twist that.
Yeah. Oh, grab it, Dan. Grab it.
I'm on fire with my. All
right. Is that a live Jansen?
Yes, it is.
Oh, there we
go. All right. We're wrapping up. Jansen, do you want to say?
I know. I'm sorry about this. It's literally the weather's blowing. I'm sorry about the internet. That usually doesn't happen.
I know. Weather blows.
The weather sucks.
And
Jansen, what do you have got going on?
What do I have going on? I am working on a feature film right now called The Warring Generals, and I'm playing one of the generals.
Hey!
Yes, that's where you want to be.
Yeah, if it's called The Warring Generals, that's like you're the eponymous Warring General.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how this is the
titular
international film done by a great filmmaker from Africa, and we'll see what happens. It's very, very cool, very interesting, really good script, and we'll see how this goes. It's going to be going to like the Nigerian Film Festival and a couple other things. We'll see what happens.
Nice.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Well, we live vicariously through your work.
Watch Bel Air episode 6 this season.
What is that on?
For season 2, episode 6?
Episode for season 2, yeah.
S2E6. I'm on it. I need to get caught up on that show. I've only watched the first couple episodes.
And if you look on Hulu from the Abbott Elementary a couple weeks ago, I was the co-star on that show. Like
right at the beginning, right?
Yeah, it was where it's called The Fundraiser. Right at the beginning. That was fun.
I bought Girl Scout cookies just yesterday, and I thought of you.
That was so
I'm like, fine.
Nice.
What is? I'm sorry. What platform is the first project you mentioned on?
I am not sure yet. I'm gonna have to get back to you guys on that.
Okay. That season 2, episode 6 thing.
Oh, yeah, that's on Peacock.
Peacock. Okay.
Yeah, that's on Peacock.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, it's been wonderful. I can't wait to get back and talk to you guys again. Beth, it was awesome to see you again.
Fantastic to see you as well, Jansen.
You guys have a fantastic rest of this Sunday, and let's hope the weather gets a little bit better.
Yeah, well, interesting weather makes for interesting times, Yeah. Next week, I think we are going to start our deep dive into The Forsaken. We are going to start seeing what we can see about the chosen few, the chosen baker's dozen.
There's a lot of them.
Nice.
Thank you for joining us. As always, we are The Way of the Leaf. We broadcast on Tuesdays, our first time reader show on our Sundays. It's our spoiler show, Tavern Talk, and this is what you've been participating in. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you on Tuesday where we're talking about the first 6 chapters of Lord of Chaos.
Nice.
And next week on Sunday, we will see you to talk about A Forsaken. We will figure out which one and tweet it.
All right. Or forget to do that and then just pop up.
And then just do it anyways.
All right. I don't want to run for your lives. This is The Way